Okay, hey guys, Ariette here, 920. Hey guys, Ariette here. I'm back with another tier list video. No, it's been 8 months. It's been crazy long. I don't know why they're doing a Spectrum ad, but I think it has to be. I don't know. It's just commercials. So, the reason why I'm doing a tier list, I haven't done one in almost a year. It's been crazy long ever since the Henry Danger. Because the re-upload didn't count. It was just a re-upload of a video that I posted 8 months ago. Might have to delete the first one because it kind of... I think I'd prefer the new one. I don't know what I'm going to do with the video. But anyways, let's just skip to the point because, Zuriat, and the reason why I decided to do President's Tier List, well, I don't really know why. I'm just kind of been bored recently. Been running out of ideas of what to do, on my YouTube channel. Like, can't find anything to do. I don't want to do stack states all the time or just something or Roblox or stuff like that all the time. Yeah, and I also made a quick notification video kind of yesterday. A bit of important news. I've been kind of bored recently on my YouTube channel, so I don't know what to put. I'm gonna X this ad. I don't know if I can, but oh, sorry. I've been kind of bored of what to do on my YouTube channel. I've been kind of oh my god, sorry. I can't even say it. I've been kind of running out of ideas lately, and also I think it would be nice to do this on a President's Day or an early President's Day. To just start Sorry, I just heard something. It kind of freaks me out. I wonder if there's still turkeys, because it could still happen though. But it was news from yesterday though. But anyways, yeah, I'm Zuriat here. So I don't think it's so. How about you? Oh my god, I can't even say it. So I think it'd be a nice idea to start this on a President's Day, on an early. Don't worry, I'll edit that part out. Oh my god. But anyways, I don't like how they're all staring at me, but yeah. Well, not all of them, but most of them are. Some of them are just looking to the side, but I think it'd be nice to start this on an early President's Day, around President's Day. Just say around President's Day. That makes it way easier. I'm already going to have to cut out a lot of parts due to my stuttering. But anyways, just skip straight to the point, and I'm also not going to do the full thing today because I don't want to make the video too long. It kind of ruins the space of my iPad or my device if I have it like 40 or even an hour long, so I'm only going to do half of it. Today I'll do the other half tomorrow because we're going to stop at Grover Cleveland's first term, and kind of after his first term, that's where we start off part 2, which is going to be interesting. Anyways, let's just jump straight into it. You have George Washington. George Washington's going at an F tier, the worst president. He found this stupid country. I'm joking. He's going at an S tier for finding this amazing country. Well, most people actually give him credit for finding America in the first place. He's actually the number one, the number one person that people take credit for finding America, though. So, I mean, not like finding him, but making it a country. So, I had to put Washington as, and also my historical accuracy may not be 100% correct. I'm not really a historian, but I'm a fan of history, but not the biggest fan. Like, I'm a fan of it, but I don't really know the best. So, next one's John Adams. They're all kind of at random places. John Adams probably had a D tier. It's the Alien and Sedition Acts. We actually recently learned about it in history class, which is actually kind of cool. So it kind of gives me more hatred towards Adams as a president. And George Washington, I also forgot this. He was the only 6-star general in American history. Just that alone. Also the first president. When people said no to him, when people said he wanted to become president, he actually never really wanted to become president. So, yeah, I know. I just don't want to stutter, and also, see, this is the problem with my videos. I keep stuttering because I'm just too scared of talking to you guys. It's kind of a normal thing, and I don't stutter in real life, so it's just a really common thing that happens in these YouTube videos. I just don't know why. It's just like a curse that I have. But anyways, George Washington, the first elected president, and he actually ran unopposed, but and he also had Adams as his vice president. That didn't really work well. That worked well for only 15 years, and then they changed the vice presidential. But I'll get to that on Jefferson, though. So Jefferson's going at an A tier, not an S, because he did do some shady things, especially with Hamilton and Burr. He kind of did some shady things. He didn't really do anything. Well, so George Washington, first president, we have to give him an S tier. And I'm already sucking. I'm actually really bad at this. And also, I keep stuttering a lot. I stutter like every millisecond or every few seconds. I'm just that horrible, okay? John Adams is a D tier. I've been recording for 5 minutes. Alien Sedition Acts. I feel like I'm just going all over the place. I know I may have to upload this because this is a hard video to do, so I'm gonna have to upload it as it is, and I'm gonna have to admit it's horrible because of my stuttering. It's like a curse to have with YouTube videos. But James Madison's a B tier. He could have been an A. He's actually one of those. He actually he was the president with the best resume before office though. He was he was the writer and also the founder of the Constitution. He was a Secretary of State. That used to be like the golden role in order to become president. It was like a stepping stone before you become president. The Secretary of State, like you got Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Monroe, and then second John Quincy Adams. Like John Quincy Adams, and then you had Martin Van Buren, I'm pretty sure James Buchanan and Polk Ross. So you got 7 presidents in those times that were Secretary of State. I'm pretty sure there was one after it, but I'm not really sure. But as you can see, as you can tell, that back then was like Secretary of State was like your golden role into becoming president, and that's the main reason why Henry Clay decided to become Secretary of State, because he knew that Jefferson or someone, if he became Secretary of State, he could become like the president soon, because it was that was like the luck back then. Nowadays it's just like senators or like businessmen. I don't know. I'm not into politics that much, so I don't even know why I'm doing this tier list. But it's President's Day, so yeah. James Monroe. Where's Monroe hiding out? Oh, there he is. Yeah, they put this in random spots. Monroe's probably going at a B tier. He did do some shady things though, but I forgot what those were. It was with Africa and Europe a bit though. He also supported the Monroe Doctrine, law that he made that no Western, Eastern or Afro-Eurasian powers can come into America in order to colonize it, or just, I mean, they can't colonize around America though. That's just it. We can colonize somewhere around it though. John Quincy Adams, I know I'm already sucking this. It's already been the first 5 minutes. I'm already sucking it a lot. But John Quincy Adams is probably a B tier. And I think he's underrated, actually, for his personality. He was actually the smartest, the highest IQ president. He actually had as much IQ as Einstein, or even more, actually, which is crazy, because you wouldn't expect a U.S. president to become smarter than Einstein. We all know Einstein's a genius, but Einstein's not really that smart. I mean, he's still smart. He still had the 170 genius IQ. Also, John Quincy Adams he was a really good multi-language speaker as well. So yeah, Andrew Jackson, I would give him a D tier. He probably could have been the worst president at so far, but he's a C tier because he was a war hero though, the Revolutionary War a bit, and the War of 1812. He's kind of like the second George Washington, basically. But his shadiness, well, what he did in office was, well, it was mostly towards natives. He was really controversial. And his kind of had, well, that was John Adams that had a grouchy personality, but Andrew Jackson also kind of had that personality too, but not as grouchy as John Adams, though. So you got Martin Van Buren. Where the heck is he? I was about to say the other one. Martin Van Buren's probably the worst president. He didn't stood for anything, though. Martin Van Buren, I'm not really a big historian, so I'm already going to suck. My opinions should get hated, probably get hated. Martin Van Buren, probably a D tier. He also didn't do anything to the natives. He's kind of worse than Jackson, but he did help find the Democratic Party. That was like the best thing that I can think of him. Other than that, he's just kind of a boo. He's kind of a meh. William Henry Harrison, he's going at a D tier, probably the worst president, and I think it's kind of rude just because he's been in office for a month, but he did do something stupid. He did a speech outside during a severe thunderstorm, and recording for 10 minutes. Oh my God. So many people told him to stay. I don't know much about the story, but he was just an idiot. He just kept on wanting to do the speech, and then he got an illness from it. What an idiot. I mean, he could have been a good president if it wasn't for that, or just somewhat decent. But, yeah, and also have a lot of, I feel like we don't have all the presidents. That's what kind of scares me. We got, where's Polk at? Oh, I don't like this. Wait, no, we're up to Tyler. Tyler's another D tier. Probably, we're getting a lot of D tiers, and starting from, like, the 1840s is where we get to the bad presidents. Like, the putrid presidents, though. John Tyler, well, he wasn't really that bad. He didn't really do anything either. So I think it's fair to put him at a D. But not only for that, during the Civil War when Abraham Lincoln, he was pretty much a pro-Confederate supporter, a slave owner, a Confederate, a traitor to the Union during the Civil War. So, Civil War, God. So yeah, that's all I have to say on John Tyler. And fun fact: his grandson's actually still alive, and I'll give you. There's actually it's actually kind of a long story. Actually, it's a pretty short story, but yeah, he had a son when he was like 70 or 60 something, and then his grandson's currently like 80 or 90 something. It's an interesting fact, and also he had two of them, but one recently died. And also wait, no, I'll explain that later once I get to him. But yeah, John Tyler, and also his son had one, but I'll talk about that later because I don't think I should jump onto it now. It's a bit off topic. You got Polk. Where is the Polk at? I don't know where Polk is. Oh, hey, he's out there. He's hiding in the corner. Polk's definitely not a C. He's going at an A, and I think it's a bit too. I think it's a bit too overreacting to put him at A. It's a bit too like. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit too sarcastic to put him at A, but there's a reason why. He annexed Florida, Texas. He annexed a lot of states and kicked Mexico's butt during the war, the Mexican-American War. But Polk's really underrated. That's why he's not an S. And he's also like, I don't know, Polk. He kind of wanted to do too much. He also was the one that believed that the United States should spread from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's what he believed in. He's kind of the one that inspired the U.S.'s land area as it is now. Because without him, we would probably be like taking one side or something, or just be different technically. But he's really underrated. That's why he's not an S tier. He could have been one of those greatest. He would probably go in my top 15, like favorite presidents at least, due to that. Manifest Destiny, the Mexican-American War, annexing, yeah, all that. I'm already sucking in the facts, but yeah, I've been recording for pretty much a long time. So I'm afraid that recording could get bugged, but I don't know if it could. I probably won't because it only happens when I do video games. Who's the 12th president? Who it is? Just Zachary Taylor's in our D. He's like the second William Henry Harrison. They were both war heroes, though, to be fair. Oh, no. He was actually participating in the War of 1812, but a bigger war hero. I don't know. I'll put him in front of Tyler. Taylor in front of Tyler, okay. He was another war hero. Now, I'm not going to rank them by historical order of each tier, but judging how good they are. So, Jefferson's still better than Polk. Madison's probably still better than the other two. John Quincy is probably close. Andrew Jackson's just a loner. No one an F. But don't worry. We're going to get to the Fs really soon, though. So, it's going to be, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but if you guys want an F, then that's good news to you. If you guys don't want an F, then yeah, tough luck. But anyways, Zachary Taylor, he was like, it's kind of like Harrison. He's basically like a second William Henry Harrison. I think both participated in the War of 1812, but only one of them participated in the Mexican-American War. It's actually the reason why they won, along with Winfield Scott, another general. He also participated in the Civil War, Winfield Scott, but only the first year. You can watch Oversimplified for that. And yeah, I don't know what to talk about Taylor, though. He's from Louisiana. He was actually the last like Southern president until Woodrow Wilson got elected in 1912. Though it's because Andrew Johnson was a Southerner, but that didn't count because he only came in as vice president, not president. So Andrew, I think that's the main reason, due to the controversies of the Civil War and slaves, or just Civil War in general. I think that's the main reason why we never had like a Southern president for like a long while, like up to like 60, even 70 years without a Southern president, like being elected, not in charge, because Johnson he's like the only one during the middle of the 1840s and the 1910s to be elected. And I have a huge hatred for Johnson and Buchanan. I think they're like two of the worst presidents in American history, and mainly due to their Civil War related stuff. So kind of dealt with it. The next president is Millard Fillmore. Now Millard Fillmore, sorry, I was about to pronounce his name as Millard Fillmore, Probably going out of B tier. He's actually, this may be a bit sarcastic as well, but Millard Fillmore, pretty underrated guy. He's kind of hated towards historians due to the Compromise of 1850 and slavery. But I don't know much about Fillmore. But I heard that he was a good leader. I may have to. I know I'm gonna get this wrong probably, so you guys can correct me. I know probably none of us are historians, so almost no one's a historian. So yeah, so there's that. So Millard Fillmore. Sorry, my bad. Seemed like a really nice guy, a really nice, smart guy outside of office, not during office though. Next one is Franklin Pierce, or is Pearson. He's the first F category, and there's a reason why. I know he had a tragic life. He's also extremely alcoholic as well. He actually kind of bit in the alcoholic trend ever since he got into office due to his tragic life as president. Though he had watched all of his kids die in a train accident right in front. He had to watch them be decapitated. I can't even speak, but and all that. I'm gonna have to edit a lot, but yeah, but Pierce, he signed the worst law, probably the worst law in American history, the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. Actually, we're gonna learn about it in our history class, so that's gonna be interesting. I actually watched Mr. Beat, believe it or not, so I watch him a lot, so that's where I get all the information from, if you guys don't know these kind of huge historical words. The next one is James Buchanan. Pierce did nothing, and he did nothing to stop the Civil War from happening. And Buchanan, where is he? He's worse. He's probably the worst president up to this point, and probably still is, but he's not the worst. He's not my least favorite, but he's really close. He's like on the bottom three in my opinion. I want to skip Buchanan because I want to go to the GOAT himself, Abraham Lincoln. He's going up in an S tier. And the reason why he's an S tier, he's not better than Washington. I mean, no one can top the founder of the nation. But Lincoln, he had a lot of interesting. He's really recognizable throughout history. He also had a lot of good quotes as well that came from him, and his Civil War leadership was just phenomenal. So, all I could say, he was the GOAT. Many people consider him better than Washington, but I strongly disagree with that because no one can top out the father of the nation. So we're down to, I think we have 5 more presidents, and then I'm gonna end up off. I may have to exclude Trump and Biden, but Biden's not on this list. And probably Obama. I don't know about Obama, but I'll decide that like later today or tomorrow. Somewhere in between videos to discuss if he should be counted in the tier list or not. So next one's Andrew Johnson. Now, Andrew Johnson's probably the worst president up to this point. And the reason why is he was extremely racist, a Confederate slave supporter, way worse than Tyler. He didn't really do anything. But I can't describe how bad Johnson was. I mean, I can explain it, but I just don't want to explain all the bad things he's done. Andrew Johnson, probably the most hated president throughout history. This is vlogging through history's worst president yet, in his opinion, though. The main reason, he was actually the only, I think I already told you this, he's the only president, to become president between the 1840s and 1910s to be a Southerner. That's the main reason why we never had a Southerner, because of Johnson, for a really long while, because of Johnson. He's from the state of Tennessee. He also has a really big name similarity to Andrew Jackson. They were both racist towards dark skin colored groups. So there's that. Andrew Johnson, indescribable how bad he was. He's like a double F category, basically. Johnson. He probably could have been the worst, or he's like second. He's like going on the top 2 least favorite because what Johnson did. I'm not even gonna mention what he did. But so we got Ulysses Grant. Grant's not a D, but he's probably going out as C. He's probably better than Jackson. Grant was actually he was a great, amazing military leader. One of the best in world history, believe it or not, ever. But what he did in office was just horrible. I mean, the scandals weren't bad as Nixon's scandals, though. And the corruption and the drama that happened during his presidency. His corrupt scandals kind of ruined his presidency. He was also going to run for a 3rd term in 1876. But they declined it because I kind of forgot about U.S. history. The They kind of been diving it out of my brain, but they denied his reelection, like his reelection in 1876. He was originally going to run a third term. But Rutherford B. Hayes kind of took that place. And speaking of Hayes, he's the next president. Where is he? The president with the coolest. He has like a Santa Claus kind of beard. He's going at a D tier, but he's not like the worst president. Like, he didn't really do anything. He's like Tyler and Taylor and all those presidents before that didn't really do anything. But he was kind of a meh. He's like one of the most underrated presidents. I think he's even more underrated than James Polk. But he did end Reconstruction, though, so that was kind of a good thing. But also the first president to have a telephone. The first president to have a phone number, which is actually one of the first people to have a phone number, which is actually interesting. And his phone number was just one. That's it. Just one. Okay, just one. Garfield. Now, Garfield, where's Garfield? Not the cat that loves lasagna. I don't watch Garfield, but Garfield's gone up here, probably between Fillmore and Monroe. Garfield was a Union Civil War veteran as well. He was, I don't know how to describe, like, he was a Union Civil War veteran. He was really young, though. He's like Kennedy, similar to Kennedy a bit. They both got elected in the year zero, and speaking of that, the year zero is actually a curse for most presidents, because I'll tell you about that later, but maybe if I have a time to discuss it in a single video, I could, because it's kind of going off topic like I did with Tyler's grandsons. But Garfield's probably like he was probably like one of the greats. He's on the top 20, but he was actually the only president to be multi-handed. Means he can write with both hands. Like, he could write Greek. He was also a multi-language as well, like Quincy Adams. He could write like Greek with his left hand and Latin with his right hand, which is really interesting. I don't know Greek and Latin roots, but yeah. As we all know, as if you guys know history a lot, especially American to be special, he didn't last long in office, as he lasted 6 months in office. Got shot by Charles Guiteau, and I didn't mention Lincoln's assassination because I think you know what happened. Probably think you guys should know what happened during that assassination. Got Chester Arthur. Chester Arthur's like Rutherford B. Hayes and all those presidents that didn't do anything. Didn't do anything about it. I know I shouldn't hate on Arthur. He kind of reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe for some reason. And same way as Andrew Johnson reminds you of Tommy Lee Jones. Kind of similar to that kind of relationship. But Chester Arthur is another one of those presidents that he didn't really do anything. He was kind of a meh, like Hayes and Tyler before him. But yeah, we're going to stop at Grover. I promised to stop at Grover Cleveland's first term. The good news is that there's no two Grovers, but Grover's going at an A, and I think I'm kind of over-exaggerating from this, like I did with Polk and Fillmore. Cleveland, he was like a good person, mainly out of office. Most of these presidents were good people. They were like good people outside of office, but Cleveland actually began as a teacher. I watched Mr. Beat a lot, actually. He also was the president that had the most vetoes behind FDR, though, which is actually, I don't know much about Cleveland, but Mr. Beat influenced me to put him up on the A tier. That's a bit over-exaggerating, but yeah, I want to review Woodrow Wilson a lot, actually, because I have a pretty much deep hatred for him. But yeah, that's my present tier list. I know it looks pretty solid for the most part. I put a lot of D's. Man, can you blame me for that? But yeah, I'm just here as I first set of the President's Tier List, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, out in peace.